harsh words, she wouldn't be nervous. He tells her that it was his fourth time doing the trial and that there was nothing scary about it. And trusting her boyfriend, Ruth gets out of the car and they start the journey. And as they walk, 6 years ago, he didn't really have a plan for his life, and after the two had started dating, everything changed for him, giving him purpose. Harry then kneels in front of his girlfriend with a ring in his hand and asks her to marry him. Suddenly, Ruth starts to experience terrible anxiety, making her stagger toward the edge and almost fall. Harry catches her just in time, but she panically tells him to let her go. When she finally calms down, she tells Harry that she apologizes and tells him that she won't be able to marry him. Harry's crushed by her answer, but chooses not to say anything, giving her the space that she needs. Later, while Henry sets up their tent, Ruth tries to speak to him about what happened, but he apologizes and tells her that they don't have to talk about it. Angry, Ruth asks him why he had done what he did after they already talked about her disinterest in marriage. Harry explains that he had agreed with her back then because he didn't want to push her away, but believed enough time had passed for her to be okay with it. He tells her that they weren't parents and that what they had was good, and the couple continues to have an argument until Ruth finally snaps, telling Harry to shut up. The next morning, Ruth finds a note Harry had left, explaining that he had gone for a walk to clear his head and that he won't be long. After making herself coffee, Ruth tries to call her therapist but couldn't find any signal. Trying to find a network, she starts walking around the forest until she happens upon a mutilated body of a deer covered with some type of black substance. Disgusted with the sight, Ruth starts walking away from it when she bumps into Harry, who calms her down. After assuring her that the deer wasn't the one from the night before, the two return back to their campsite. While sitting around the fire, Harry continues to reassure his girlfriend that whatever killed the animal would bother him. Harry continues to apologize for making things up. He had made up the next morning, and while Harry makes their breakfast, Ruth tells him that she was going for a little stroll and leaves. As the movie begins, tells Harry that she apologizes and tells him used to reassure his girlfriend that whatever killed the animal would bother him until she was good and ready. The two woke up happy and made up the next morning, and while Harry makes her breakfast, Ruth tells him that she was going for a little stroll and leaves. After walking around for a bit, Ruth comes across a cave where she finds small droplets of a glowing blue substance. Curious, she walks deeper into the cave and tries to look around, and on one spot she finds a concentrated amount of the gooey substance and pokes at it with a stick. While Ruth kneels inspecting the substance, she hears something behind her and turns around, and she starts to scream because of the unexpected sight. Out of the campsite, Harry's worried that Ruth had been gone for so long, so he heads out to look for her. He calls out her name for a while until he finds her standing in the middle of the woods. Harry tells Ruth that she was gone for half an hour and that he was worried about her, and she apologizes for worrying him, and the two head back to finish the rest of their breakfast. Having had their meal, Ruth and Harry continue their trekking up the mountain for hours until they find a suitable place to spend the night. Harry wakes up to Ruth missing yet again from his side and goes out looking for her until she startles him in the middle of the woods with a knife in her hand and tells him that she hurt an animal. Returning his pocket knife to Harry, she returns to the tent and she eating to the monster that changed himself into Harry. Although she was scared, Ruth wanted to find out some answers, and she asks Harry's impersonator, Adam. Afraid that she was pushing her out, Vivian decides to change the subject and asks Ruth what her hobbies were. When Ruth mentioned surfing, the woman explains that she and her husband also love that sport as well, but the last time they went there to surf, there were too many sharks. When she still doesn't get a response from the girl, Vivian wakes up her husband and tells him that there was something wrong with Ruth and that they can't wait to call the police. Seeing her chance, Ruth picks up the knife Wade had left lying around, and when they see the sharp object in the girl's hand, the couple gets scared and ask her to put it down. Find a suitable place to spend the night. Harry wakes up to Ruth missing yet again from his side and goes out looking for her until she startles him in the middle of the woods with a knife in her hand and tells him that she hurt an animal. Returning his pocket knife to Harry, she returns to the tent and spends the night wide awake. Ruth sits on a log, strangely quiet as her boyfriend packs up their stuff. He tells her that he might be promoted to vice principal at the school that he works at, and ignoring what he was saying, Ruth apologizes for being so weird that night before and tells him that she was wrong and asks him to propose to her again. She tells him that she wants to feel like it's the first time and asks him to take her to the same place where he had first popped the question. Happy, Harry agrees and takes her to the hill and when they got there, He gets on one knee and asks Ruth if she would be willing to spend the rest of her life with him. Ruth agrees to the proposal. He gets up to put the ring on her fingers, telling her that it looked beautiful on her. Ruth kisses her now fiancé, telling him that she loved him, but then she hits him on the groin with her leg and pushes him over the edge of the cliff, letting him plummet down the rocky floor. Ruth starts running as fast as she can down the trail that they initially climbed, and after hours of running, she felt dizzy and falls, hitting her head on the rock. She awakens to other hikers, a husband and wife, checking up on her, and after giving her some water for her dehydration, they ask her what happened to her, and she tells them that she doesn't remember. The husband, Ray, tries to call the police, but couldn't find a signal on his phone, so his wife suggests that Ruth should come with them to their campsite. Ray's wife, Vivian, gives the lost girl something to eat, telling her that they would be heading back with her first thing in the morning. Hoping that Ruth would remember something, Vivian asks more questions, but she couldn't get anything out of her. Afraid that she was putting her out, Vivian decides to change the subject and asks Ruth what her hobbies were. When Ruth mentions surfing, the woman explains that she and her husband also love that sport as well, but the last time they went there to surf, there were too many sharks. When she still doesn't get a response from the girl, Vivian wakes up her husband and tells him that there was something wrong with Ruth and that they can't wait to call the police. Seeing her chance, Ruth picks up the knife Ray had left lying around, and when they see the sharp object in the girl's hand, the couple gets scared and ask her to put it down. Then suddenly, they all hear a sound coming from behind them, and Ruth is shocked to see Harry walking toward her. Shaking with fear, Ruth tells the older couple that it was him and runs away. Ray tries to keep Harry at bay, telling him to stay where he was, but he doesn't listen. Ray tries to throw a punch, but a long, sharp knife-looking thing erupts from Harry's fingers and slices Ray's hand clean off. Sarcastically, Harry thanks Ray for finding Ruth and then slices the man's body in half. Vivian, who assumed the man they just encountered was the girl's abusive boyfriend, catches up to Ruth who confirms that the thing out there wasn't really Harry. The older woman is confused but calms down a bit after she hears her husband's voice. Ruth begs Vivian to stay with her, but the woman decides to go with Ray instead. Vivian encounters her husband's severed body with Harry right behind it, but gets attacked before having the chance to escape. Harry calls out to Ruth and threatens to kill Vivian unless she comes out. When Ruth reveals herself, Harry goes back on his word and murders Vivian, then asks her how she found out about him. Ruth explains that she found the cave where he had taken Harry and wrapped.
Hi, I use Febreze Fade Club. And I use this. Febreze has a microchip to control scent release, so it smells first stay fresh for 50 days. 50 days? That means I'll never miss a day of freshness. It's Febreze Club.
As the movie begins, we see a red Harry thanks Ray for finding Ruth and then slices the man's body. Vivian, who assumed the man they just encountered was the girl's abusive boyfriend, catches up to Ruth and confirms that the thing out there wasn't really Harry. The older woman is confused but calms down a bit after she hears her husband's voice. Ruth begs Vivian to stay with her, but the woman decides to go with Ray instead. Vivian encounters her husband's severed body with Harry right behind it, but gets attacked before having the chance to escape. Harry calls out to Ruth and threatens to kill Vivian unless she comes out. When Ruth reveals herself, Harry goes back on his word and murders Vivian, then asks her how she found out about it. Ruth explains that she found the cave where he had taken Harry and wrapped him up in a cocoon, his head severed in two before impersonating him. When she ran out of the cave, struggling with a panic attack, she ran into the monster that changed himself into Harry. Although she was scared, Ruth wanted to find out some answers, and she asks Harry's impersonator what he was. The alien explains that he was a scout who arrives at a planet first, and then reports back at his kind before a full-blown invasion begins. Harry is angry at himself for telling her this, and tries to kill Ruth, but the love that the real Harry had for Ruth has been transferred into the alien, making him question his actions. He repeatedly tries to end her life, but is unable to, but she starts to beg him to let her go. He realizes that he had fallen in love with Ruth and becomes frustrated, and as Harry turns around to sort out his emotions, Ruth uses the opportunity to run away. Harry starts following her, yelling that she doesn't have to worry because he would never hurt her. He eventually catches up to her and tells her that he understands that she's angry that he killed her boyfriend, and explains that she shouldn't be because he was the exact biological replica of the real Harry. He also tells her that it was the first time that he had felt love, and for some reason, it's now integrated itself into his system. Harry takes Ruth out to the beach and shows her the spaceship that he arrived in. Once he explains how much he cared about her and that he doesn't want to see her hurt, he tells her that there are many other aliens like him who would be arriving soon that had plans to invade the planet. He offers to take her away from Earth and give her an incredible life, and she agrees with him by letting him kiss her, but as soon as he's distracted, she grabs the pocket knife in his pocket and stabs him in the chest. Realizing that this wouldn't cause any damage, she runs toward the shark-infested water and dives in. As Harry follows her inside, his bleeding chest attracts a shark in the vicinity, which drags him away, giving her enough time to swim out. Ruth heads back to the trail and finds Ray and Vivian's campsite, and while she eats a piece of sausage that they left out, Harry, that was able to escape the shark, surprises her. After trying to convince her to be with him, Harry decides to take her to the same cave he had killed her boyfriend and suck out all her memories so he can impersonate her too. As she watches, Harry's body begins to reform into hers, inheriting all the pain and anxiety that she had lived with for years. The newly transformed alien is gasping for air and the alien couldn't breathe and lies down on the ground. As she tells it to breathe, she grabs a large stone from her side and bashes the alien's skull in. Taking the car keys from the fallen body, Ruth hurries forward where the car is. Back in the cave, the crushed skull of the alien that transformed itself into Ruth slowly begins to heal, closing up to its sleeping state. When Ruth finally gets into the car, she starts it up and begins her journey back home, and on her way, she hears static on the radio, and her own voice comes through, telling her that there was nowhere for her to run. Then suddenly, hundreds of spaceships are seen covering the sky as they make their way toward Earth, ready to begin the invasion.